Hi, my name's Erin. I'm a really big fan and I'm really excited to see both of you. I'm a little stressed because I feel like I could ask about, gun violence, I could ask about anti-Semitism on campus, but I feel like with an opportunity like this, I would really appreciate some personal advice. I'm here at the University of Pittsburgh as a social work major and I'm really passionate about it. I really just want to get your advice moving forward for myself. There's some obvious things I think you can think that would conflict for me as an aspiring social worker.
What would conflict?
I don't know how to say it properly.
I think I can help. The social work industry is very much about a perspective generally of that people in poverty are there permanently and not trying to break people out of poverty into the middle class or higher levels.
Right.
They view poverty not as a series of choices, but as a station in life that is immovable largely.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. That's why my personal focus is on the children in underprivileged communities, because I personally feel like they don't choose to be put in that position. But I'm having a little bit of a difficult time empathizing with the older generation of underprivileged, and not in every community, but I don't know how to not sound bad. I know you are great at not sounding bad when you say stuff, but I don't want to say something that'll get me in trouble.
Well, here's one way to look at it. And Charlie, that was helpful, actually. The Great Society from Lyndon Johnson. It was a series of policies that were designed to help underprivileged communities.
Right.
They hurt the very people they were supposed to help.
How?
Well, the reality is it created dependence on government. So you have a lot of single mothers, for example, that are paid more money not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house because of the way the math of these aid programs
What do you
work.
mean?
Well, often the way the math of the aid is calculated is if you have an earning husband in the household, that actually causes you to disqualify for forms of federal aid that were designed to help you.
Right.
But actually, the best way to get kids in your own household ahead is in a two-parent household, because if you're raised in a two-parent household, you're less likely to end up in jail, less likely to end up in poverty, more likely to graduate from high school. So one of the ways that, if you're asking for advice, I would say for the people around you, even who might lean left, you can recognize their intentions come from a good place.
Absolutely.
But the policies of their leaders have actually betrayed the very people they were supposed to help. And you can let them know, because I believe this is genuinely true. Not just the Republican Party, but our conservative movement. We care about lifting people up from poverty. We just care about actually doing it rather than talking about it. That's what I would say.
The other thing I'll say is that we as conservatives believe that if you're in poverty, it's largely because of values, not because of lack of stuff.
Like what values?
Not saving money. Spending all of your money in your paycheck as you get it, for example. Abandoning your spouse after impregnating them. Not spending all of your money on alcohol and drugs and instead opening a 401k. So values are the #1 predictor of entering the middle class. And there's a great book called Life at the Bottom. You should read it, by Theodore Dalrymple, who's a social worker in the United Kingdom. It's called Life at the Bottom, where he got into social work because he wanted to help people, and he realized it was not a lack of stuff. It wasn't lack of housing, lack of food stamps. It was that their value system was one that kept them poor. So yeah, really quick, then I want to get to a next question.
I'm just struggling because in all of my social work classes right now, they're talking about all of those things. And
they're wrong.
So what do I do? I'm trying to learn about what I want to do.
I think you need to stay in social work because you're called to do it, but there's an amazing amount of literature from Thomas Sowell to Shelby Steele to Theodore Dalrymple that get down to actual root causes of poverty, which is not lack of stuff, but is worldview. And I think that'd be super helpful.
There is obviously a huge issue in the country with healthcare prices. Yeah. What do you think is the best way to lower costs for families?
The hospitals are gouging prices significantly. We have to try to get at the root cause, which is the food that we are feeding ourselves and our kids. We have to get to the fact that we are an increasingly sedentary country. We aren't walking enough. We're not exercising enough. And healthcare costs are exploding because we don't actually address the root cause 20 or 30 years prior.
How do we take on those huge food companies?
Well, the first thing is we should have a real conversation about banning pesticides in when we're making our food. Ultra-processed food should not be on the FDA recommended food pyramid. We have a chronic disease epidemic. It's not because our kids are lazier. It's because we are actively poisoning our kids with food from big ag that we're spraying with all these pesticides, these chemicals. And if you look at the ingredient list of just a Lunchables box, we are basically giving kids the worst thing possible for their metabolism, for their endocrinology. So that I'm more interested in the healthcare conversation that tries to make sure that a 12-year-old doesn't have to get on Ozempic by the time they're 18 years old. And just so you know, they're giving pediatric Ozempic now for 12 and 13-year-olds. They are now treating obesity as a genetic disorder that you cannot do anything about, and they just want a 12-year-old to now have to take a shot every week to try to curb their obesity, which has all other sorts of very, very negative health implications. So every day, potentially, right? And so how do we solve that? Well, my personal crusade, we have to blow up the food pyramid, that we have way too many carbohydrates in our diet, not enough healthy fats, and not enough protein. Whoever made that was obviously bought by the big ag companies, and you should just say, I'm not gonna have any more high fructose corn syrup, I'm not gonna have any more processed sugars, and if there are ingredients I can't pronounce, I should resist it, and you'll be a lot healthier because of it. So, thank you very much, appreciate it, thank you.
I agree with Charlie, it seems like the more we feel we are educated, the more we feel like, we are adding a whole lot of things to make our food grow, the lower, we stay on this earth. It seems like formerly you get people that are here for, 90, 100 years, but now even 50, people are dying. Less than 50, 30, like people are just living. Now the required age range you get to before you die now is dropping every day because of the kind of things we consume. You see, that is what Charlie has been saying. Charlie said America does not have, hunger issue problem. America have an obesity problem because majority of people now are, increasing rapidly because of what we eat. You understand? In my country, when you are a bit plumpy, they see you as someone that is enjoying, someone that has what it takes to live the life, someone that is, have a lot to eat. But they don't see you that you are adding a whole lot of weight. You need to lose those weights. You need to keep fit. No, when you try to keep fit, people look at you like, are you suffering? What is wrong with you? Are you okay? But this is the standard way of life before. People are, looking fit. You understand? My grandfather, at the age of, 70 something, he was walking straight. He was doing his thing like he was acting normal. But now at the age of, 50, 59, 60, you can't even stand straight again. Any little thing, you see people, they want to sit down. Because of what we are consuming, it seems like we feel we are enjoying from eating junk. But it's gradually making us, lose our stamina. It's gradually making us fade away so easily. And I think the first lady that came out and was talking about, her study and all. I think I love how Charlie tackled the issue. When you try to make things available to everyone, you encourage them to be lazy. That is the truth. The truth is, people might not agree with you, you understand? If you need something, you go out there and work for it, then you appreciate it. If you give someone something for free, the first and second time, they start becoming dependent on you. They feel like, yes, when they have similar situation or when they encounter any situation, you are going to step up and help them. The thing is, it's always been there. Teach people how to fish and stop giving them fish. Because when you teach them how to fish, they also go out and teach the next person how to fish. But when you keep on giving them, they start becoming so independent. How long will you keep on giving? You might give and end up becoming stuck because what you need to grow yourself, you're giving it out. And I think that is what Donald Trump is doing. He's cutting down, aid that are not bringing value to American. And I think that is actually a good move. You understand? When you cut down those aid, before you get something from American needs to benefit. That is it. Every other person will try to fix their country. And I agree with that. The more you keep on giving, this country, they are dependent on all this country. They have independence. The fact that you decide to be independent shows that you are capable of taking care of yourself. So for you to be independent and still depending on American shows you are not ready to be an independent country. Aside from, country in general, in household, when you try to, give single mother, support, they don't see the need in staying in marriage. I've seen, there's this, There's this footballer that had an accident and lost his life few days ago. I saw a comment online. They were like, since the marriage is not up to 2 weeks, since he married and it's not up to 2 weeks, will the wife get the property? I feel like this is how people think. They are concerned about what to benefit from you, what to keep on benefiting from you. This is the dependent mentality that I think Charlie Kirk is fighting against. You have to think about what can you do next? How can you make things grow? And stop thinking about, okay, will this person help me? I need help from this. And like, it makes you keep on becoming dependent. And when we have a society whereby majority of the citizen or majority of people are dependent, that society would not grow. But when you have a society whereby the youth, majority of people there are eager, to create, to develop, that society will grow from grace to grace. Take China, for example. China have a whole lot of population that are willing to invest, that are willing to put in the work, that they are eager to create. And I think that's why China is striving every day. You know, I remember when China started, it was like people were scared to buy their goods because they weren't, of good quality. But right now, when China produce, it seems like the world want to, they want to patronize what they are producing. The electric cars are awesome. When they decide to come to your country to fix your road, the roads are always awesome. When we go to tech, like they are doing their best and it's working. So when you have a society whereby the government make it easy for people to take loan to develop themselves, that society will grow. And I think that is where we are getting it wrong in Africa, because I see leaders going to IMF, taking loan, and instead of using that loan to develop their youth, they are using that loan to construct good road and all. These are stuff that are not generating revenue for your state. We have youths that are done with school looking for just support. You understand? A youth cannot come to you and ask for support and you ask the person to bring collateral. Like, how are they going to get that collateral? They are just starting life. So if we have a foundation or something or a bank that give out loan to youth, like at least you bring a business idea and they will invest into the business idea. Aside from before investing, they'll look into the business idea and see how well they can support you. You understand? And I think a whole lot of youth will be willing and ready, to venture into that. This is very fun. I want to see more videos from Charlie Kirk. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. If it is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and remain blessed.